Boom boom. Hiya.
Well,
Hiya. Target, I'm glad you're back. I know it might seem like you're not getting many views initially, but that's because they build up gradually and you're wanting the lore for League will end up on your channel. Love the lore. That's why I'm here. Oh, clicked the wrong thing. I just want to do a like.
welcome,
Alright, let's
ladies
go.
and gentlemen, to another episode
Hiya.
of the Lore of League of Legends.
Hiya.
In this episode, we're going to be
Hiya.
covering the first of two champions that have just been released by Riot. Starting off with Xayah
I'm an
the
idiot.
Rebel. Enjoy.
Let's go. Wait, she's a rebel? The rebel. Oh, she's doing drugs. Fights with her mom.
As a child, Xayah loved listening to her father sing the ancient folk hymns about Vestayan heroes. The haunting melodies transported her to a long-forgotten time when the spirit realm danced freely throughout the physical world. But with every new generation, humans encroached further into the Lothland tribelands, disrupting the raw, chaotic essence of Ionia for their own purposes. Unwilling to stand by and watch her kind fade, Xayah ignored the decrees of her people and set out to reason with the humans. She ventured into villages beyond her secluded tribal home and learned how little she knew of the outside world. A group of poverty-stricken villagers mobbed her, some of them trying to steal her feathers as priceless trophies. Others were fearful of her strange appearance and summoned the authorities, forcing her to defend herself. Xayah's attackers were soon taught the dangers of getting in her way, as she skewered them with her lethal quills.
Nope.
Dismayed, she returned to her home, only to discover that her tribe, including her father, was missing without a trace. An ancient Vestayan temple had been tainted by unnatural shadow magic, disrupting its connection to the spirit realm. Xayah destroyed the temple in order to dispel the corruption. Almost instantly, magic flowed back into the surrounding lands. It was a beautiful sight, but her tribe was still nowhere to be found. After years spent fitting in and out of the most fortified strongholds and leaving a trail of bodies in her wake, she became known as the Violet Raven. She lived alone, focused only on the next mission, and the next step toward freedom for her kind.
I know why Xayah feel, or Kaya, whatever. Why does she feel like she has passive armor penetration? Because, like, out of all the ADCs, it's like, aside from Vayne, obviously, because Vayne actually has, like, fucking shit ton of true damage. It feels like Xayah is, like, the second best at dealing with super tanks, raid bosses, right? Vayne is good at it because she does true damage and she can knock them back and, like, she's super mobile. Xayah is just good at it because she just fucking melts them. I don't know why she melts them compared to, like, something like a Kalista or a Darius, you know? Or Jin. Well, Jin makes sense because he's not attacking fast, but yeah. Or is that the attack speed?
But then she met another Vestayan who would change her life forever. As she
Um,
entered the remote mountain town of Vlanquo in search of a stolen Vestayan artifact,
why not?
she was struck by the strange sight of a braying crowd of excitable humans. On stage before them stood a preening, flamboyant performer, a veritable golden peacock who sang all Vestayan
Flamboyant
songs for his
performer.
captivated audience. As he finished his show with a dazzling array of cheap tricks, as Xayah saw them, the crowd erupted and chanted his name, Rakan. He took a theatrical bow. She dismissed him as a buffoon.
He does
Xayah
act
willed
like
herself
one.
to ignore the entertainer and completed her mission. She made her escape, which she had to admit had become far easier thanks to the buffoon's distracting of Vlanquo's inhabitants. Despite vowing never to see this Rakan again, she couldn't seem to get him out of her mind.
Oh.
It was a strange and complicated feeling. There was a lightness to his spirit that she found aggravatingly alluring. As she left the town, Xayah stood preoccupied by these strange thoughts, leaving her momentarily distracted to an ambush from a group of mercenaries. She'd been expecting a fight, so she was glad to get her feathers bloody. A good brawl seemed the perfect antidote for useless diversions and unwanted feelings.
Usually it is, yeah.
That was when Rakan made his grand entrance.
Oh.
Xayah insisted she didn't need the swaggering Vestayan's help. Rakan insisted he didn't care.
More interesting,
He
though,
just didn't want to
Rakan is, like, very flamboyant, like he's a peacock, right? But if you look at, like, the belt, he has skulls, like, I guess peacock skulls, but, like, it's bird skulls, right? Which is, like, kind of unfitting to what he represents, but also, you know, it's like, why are the skulls? She has a similar skull here, too, so...
miss the party. Through the course of the fight, Rakan
Maybe
proved
skulls
an
mean
unorthodox
different for
but
them,
surprisingly dauntless and effective ally. He leapt and pirouetted through the attackers who couldn't take their eyes off him,
Pirouette.
providing Zaya ample time to strike them down with a devastating accuracy. In spite of her protestations, Rakan continued to follow Zaya. Over time, she grew to welcome his company, and though she was initially loath to admit it, the world didn't feel so broken and lonely. They became inseparable, with her passion for the Vestayan cause infecting the showboating battle dancer.
Ah, look, it's
She's
God
adapted
touching
to
man.
his free-spirited ways, utilising the chaos Rakan creates as perfectly timed distractions. Together, they fight to release Ionia's abundant flow of magic, so that the Vestaya might thrive once again.
So here's what's interesting. So they are in Ionia, but the Vestaya are, for the most part... Well, actually, are they in Ionia? Like, the Vestaya. I thought the Vestaya are closer to, like, the jungles area where Kiana is and where, like, what's it called? East of Shurima. Could be wrong. I don't know. I know that these two are in Ionia, but it's like didn't know that they have like a whole like Vestaya group there. I just know that these two are in Ionia. Maybe Vestayas are just everywhere. They don't have like a set place where they're like situated, kind of thing. Like different tribes go to different places of the world, something like that. I don't know. We'll learn more as we go. All right, next.